If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Ill-fated words I would show.
Happy Friday to everyone in the sports universe. This is the AM Drive, and I am live. It is October the 13th, 2023. For Aaron Crouch in Las Vegas, Nevada, I am Michael Carbelis in Guyton, Georgia. I said Carbelis in Guyton, Georgia. Aaron could not be on the show today, and I am under the weather, but we're going to top this one out, and we're going to make it work. Head to MikeandAaronDrive.com for the best in our shop, sponsors, socials, and YouTube all in one awesome link tree. That's MikeandAaronDrive.com. It's the best way to support our show, and for that, we thank you. On today's edition of the AM Drive, we've got a ton to get to, including the MLB Postseason, NHL debut, NHL Postseason latest, NHL season debut. We also have to get into my top 5 of college football and top 5 NFL. Also, 2 big college football games this weekend because, of course, I missed Wednesday's show. And, of course, the NFL Week 6 slate. So this show is going to be very quick moving, but don't worry, we're going to have a blast here. And don't forget the AM Drive 5, as always, coming up at the end of the show. Again, MikeandAaronDrive.com is what our first segment is brought to you by. Latest in Major League Baseball postseason, and boy, it has been rough for 2 fan bases that really thought they were on the cusp, on the precipice of getting there to the end. The Atlanta Braves, after evening the series up 1-1, and many thought that, hey, the Braves got hot again, including myself. Phillies smacked them around again. Nick Castellanos, the guy who's always famous for hitting home runs when brutal murders take place, it seems like. He hit a multi-home run game in back-to-back games. I believe that was the record. First time in MLB history that's happened, which is just wild. Again, if you break a record in baseball, that's a pretty big deal. Like that records don't get broken like they used to. You always hear like it's the first thing since 1912, but no, this was the first time ever. So great job for the Phillies, and they advanced to the NLCS. Now, there has been calls to change the layouts of Major League Baseball postseason. Rob Manfred said, "Oh, give it time." You know, he's like the worst commissioner in all of sports. Again, I mentioned it on Monday or whenever it was I was last on. 3, 5, and 7 is just stupid. Not only do the wild card teams make the other hot teams wait 3 games, why 5 games? Like, I'm not saying the Phillies would not have beaten the Braves anyways. I'm not saying the Diamondbacks would not have beaten the Dodgers. But it is just an ugly look when your 2 top teams who have been dominant all season long are just done like in 3-1 sets. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Every other sport has 7, and even the sports that don't have 7, like the National Lacrosse League, which I cover extensively, it is interesting. Even theirs are like 3 games, and like they're consistent with that. I don't like it, but it's not 3, 5, and 7 because that would be weird. Like, remember when the Cubs could have won a World Series? Imagine if that was over in 5. Poofed. Are you kidding me right now? So it's not a good look for baseball. It's not a good look that Rob Manfred said, don't worry, it's only season 2 of this stuff. Well, it's stupid. It should not be a thing, 3, 5, and 7. It's just a dumb layout, and he knows it, but he doesn't care. And that's just Rob Manfred for you. You also have the Diamondbacks, who were a pesky little team who beat the Dodgers. Now, I have written an article on 12ouncesports.com. That's 12, the letter OZ, sports.com. And I wrote why Clayton Kershaw, his career is basically a failure. It's a failure. And people are going to say, well, he won a championship. He's a 3-time Cy Young winner. He won the NL MVP in 2014, which is 9 years ago. He is this, this, and this. And like, that's all fine and dandy. But how many times has he choked, gagged, and suffocated away? Every time the Dodgers are good, he finds a way to blow it. And in game 1, they had him on the mound. He got smacked around. D-backs had life, and they killed him. And I believe if Clayton Kershaw had shown up in game 1, there's a much better chance the Dodgers feel better and might actually play better. I know it's weird, and it sounds weird in my brain, but that's how my brain works, and that's how sports works. It's just, you cannot have your ace, your chosen one, your next Josh Beckett, as a Texas Monthly article said about him in 2006. Those things cannot be true of this guy if he's going to choke it away every single time. It's a bad look. And the Dodgers once again paid the price of being good but not being good enough. And don't 2020 championship me, because that season was way shorter than all the other sports seasons. 60 games in baseball, give me a break. It's a bad look for the Dodgers. It's a horrible look on Clayton Kershaw that years down the line, this guy still is a suffocating choke artist. He's a gag. He's not good in the postseason. I can't explain it. And people are like, he's the Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's got 2 rings. This guy's got 1 ring with an asterisk. Are we kidding us right now? Like, what are we doing? Clayton Kershaw is not good. He has not lived up to the hype. Period. And of course, in the ALCS, for the Rob Manfred supporters, you've got the You've got the Astros and the Rangers who will meet up in the LCS. And I'll be doggone, I know people are going to say, well, you've got the people are going to talk about how those 2 teams are like the chalk to get in there. Baseball isn't chalk. I think the Philadelphia Phillies, I think Phillies might win it. I've got Phillies to get past the Diamondbacks. I've got Rangers are healthy. I've got the Rangers to beat the Astros, and I've got Phillies over the Rangers in the World Series. That's what I got. I think Phillies got hot at the right time. Shout out Mitch Bernstein, friend of the show. But yeah, that's it for baseball. Hockey debuted in the NHL. They don't tell you anything. What is cool is that John Bucci-Gross is going to host like something on ESPN2 every week or whatever, where it's like the equivalent of NFL Red Zone. Like, you're going to see every big hit, every power play, every like goal. I don't know how they're going to do that, because that's a lot of stuff. But hey, they think they can do it. ESPN, and congrats to them. Connor Bedard, of course, is the main reason I'm talking about this, because he's a generational talent. He's the next Connor McDavid. He's the next Sidney Crosby. Crosby and Bedard, I believe, played in the first game. My Seattle Kraken, we lost 3-0 to the Predators. Barf. That's not a good look for us, but good job for hockey being back. I wish Aaron was here to talk about that, but I had to acknowledge it. So here it is. It's been acknowledged. When I come back, I'll give you my top 5 college football teams, and we'll talk about 2 gigantic games on the college football slate for this weekend. Don't go anywhere. It's the AM Drive, presented by MikeandAaronDrive.com. We'll be right back. The AM Drive is proud to be partnered with the best in meats with the people over at AgriDime. It's AGRI Dime, if you don't know what that is on the audio. AgriDime, They've got the greatest in quality meats shipped right to your ding-dong door. You can also invest in cattle, but as I always say, please do not name the cow, because when you do that, then you're going to wish you hadn't invested in the cattle to sell in the first place, because it will be chopped up. So head to MikeandAaronDrive.com, click the logo that looks like the cow being either fanned by a leaf or sliced by a leaf, whichever one floats your fancy, and use the code AMDRIVE for 10% off your order. Now, Aaron has given you the courtesy and the honor of telling you before that if they have a discount going on for like 40% off your order, please use that instead. But if they don't, go to Agridime, use the code AMDRIVE in all caps for 10% off your order, and we are so happy that you are supporting the meat lovers like we do. All right, so college football top 5 teams. I've got my list. I could not get Aaron's list before the show, so I apologize for that, because obviously, it's okay. Mine's the only one that matters. I'm kidding. I actually made a top 25 this week, and no, I'm not going to go over that for you. But here, in my top 5, there are... wow, I'm dying over here. I'm back. That was my bad. So, in my top 5, there is a newcomer and someone who has fallen way out of the pack. As you may have heard, Texas got beat by Oklahoma. Thank you and curse you to Steve Sarkisian. That stupid last field goal. But that means who's the number one team for me? And remember, this is our college football playoff +1. So number 1 is Michigan. Their defense has not allowed more than 10 points this year. After being pushed around by Ohio State last season, and apparently a decent quarterback in C.J. Stroud at this point, Michigan has been lights out. This weekend, they host Indiana, and are the favorites by 33.5 points. And please, I think they're going to cover that, just so you know. Number 2 for me is Georgia. Kentucky, they were favored by 14.5 points against the Wildcats, and Georgia smacked them around. Carson Beck, after growing up against Auburn, stopped on the Kentucky secondary, 51-13. Georgia's at number 2. Number 3, Oregon. Oregon's got a big game with Washington this weekend, and I know Oregon's number 8 in the AP. They're number 3 on my list, but I think my list matters. Number 4, jumping up because they did beat my number 1 team, the Oklahoma Sooners are now my number 4 team and have entered the chat, which means they leapfrogged USC, who does not get the benefit of moving up, because they almost lost, but they won in triple overtime, 43-41 against Arizona. That's a bad look for them, so they have to fall down, but still in the top 5, still right there. They've got a big game against Notre Dame, which I'll also get to very shortly. So again, Michigan, Georgia, Oregon, Oklahoma, and my 5th ranked team is USC. Now, number 8, Oregon, takes on number 7, Washington, at 3:30 Eastern tomorrow. So that'll be Saturday, October the 14th. This is the game of the week by far. Michael Penix Jr. versus Bo Nix. The Oregon defense, everyone's been hyping up Washington for as long as I can remember the season. I think Ducks' defense is way better. And if it's any consolation for Ducks supporters like I am, Huskies last played 2 weeks ago, and they barely beat Arizona. There you go, 31-24. If it's any consolation to USC, who also barely beat Arizona. Apparently Arizona's not bad, but regardless. Washington's favored by 3, and the total's at 67.5. I'm going to check that and see if it's still a thing. It is 3. It's at 67 now, according to Action Network. My best bet is just take the Oregon money line. I think Oregon's going to win this thing. I had 41-21, but because Washington's favored, I kind of backed away from like the complete blowouts. I was going to say take Oregon plus the 130 on the money line. That's my best bet for that game. Not sure where Aaron would be leaning on that, but I think he actually likes Washington. He's always talking about Michael Penix Jr. I don't know how he feels about this game. I'm assuming he would go Washington money line or even the over. But I do think Oregon gets this win, and I think it's not going to be close, but whatever. Number 10, USC. And by the way, Oregon and Washington almost made my AM Drive 5. Number 10, USC, and number 21, Notre Dame. The Irish, the Fighting Irish, who now have 2 losses thanks to getting beat by Louisville. I know that sounds stupid, but they did. And Sam Hartman was dreadful. Notre Dame is favored by 2.5 against USC after USC played around with its food with Arizona. The total set at 16.5. And I believe Notre Dame, when I picked this game, I had Notre Dame winning 33-31. It's tough because the 2.5 would obviously make me be a little bit different here. I'm going to say Notre Dame covers the 2.5, even though I originally picked it as a 2-point game. I think Sam Hartman is going to drive down the field late against an easy Trojans defense. Caleb Williams, I believe, will struggle against a tough Fighting Irish defense. And I do believe that the late loss to the Buckeyes plus the horrible game for the Irish against Louisville will have people so down the Irish. This is only at 2.5, and I think it should be more than that. Even though, I capped it at 2, I still believe if they had beaten down Louisville, or at least beat them for crying out loud, forget beat them down. If they had beaten Louisville, if they had held up against Ohio State, they would be favored by like 7, it feels like. And that's bad for USC because Caleb Williams is the chosen one, the Messiah, and all that good stuff. But I think Notre Dame gets them. 33-31 is my pick, but I'm going to go Notre Dame covers it. Alrighty, when I come back, we're going to talk more football, but this time we're switching to the pros. That's right, the NFL. And to start, I'll give my NFL top 5. We, of course, are presented by Agridime. Code AMDRIVE for 10% off your quality meats. And again, do not name the cow if you invest. I'll be right back in 30 seconds for the AM Drive. Welcome back to the AM Drive here, presented by MikeandAaronDrive.com. Click the logo on Agridime that looks like the cow being sliced or fanned by a leaf. That's Agridime. Code AM Drive for 10% off your order. There's the graphic. I finally found it for those of you watching the show. All right, time for my National Football League top 5. Now, much like my college football, a top 2 team of mine got beat. And for the Ravens, it wasn't pretty. However, have the Ravens fallen out of the top 5? Let's find out. Staying packed at number 1 now for the 3rd weekend in a row is the San Francisco 49ers. Number 2, jumping up a spot, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 4, the team that's fallen 2 spots but still in the top 5, the Baltimore Ravens, and number 5, the Buffalo Bills. Okay, are you ready for some football? Well, in London, the Baltimore Ravens take on the Tennessee Titans. God, late day. They are shoving this London thing down our throats. I think it's not as bad as what they're doing with Taylor Swift, but I don't know, man. All right. So, both teams have good defenses, obviously, and both teams do not have the greatest of passing. Last weekend against the Steelers, the Ravens had a chance to go up like 24-3 at halftime, but Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman looked like they just dropped open passes. As for the Titans side of things, I think Tyjae Spears, their rookie, has been a fantastic draft pick, and Derrick Henry is still not bad, although I don't know how he's going to do with the travel thing. But can Lamar Jackson win this game with his legs? If I believe that both passing attacks will struggle, can Lamar do enough? I'd say no. Now, the Ravens are favored by 4 points here. The total's at 41.5. I've got the Titans to win 17-16 and give me the +4. I don't know if I'm going to go with the money line, but give me the Titans +4. I'm getting more than a field goal there. It's in London. I think the under would be very close as well, but you might sweat that one a little bit more. And plus, who wants to wake up at 11 o'clock in the morning to find out, crap, the over hits? Yeah, you don't want to do that. So we're just going to do with Titans +4 in this game for my best bets. And I'll want some crumpets with that too. It has to be. I have to speak British when that happens, when those games are talked about. All right. Their regular scheduled programming, the Carolina Panthers visit the Miami Dolphins. I expect a nice day from Bryce Young. I don't believe this game will be very close. And I know Devon Achane, the rookie running back sensation who's been really good for the Dolphins, I do believe his loss will be felt, but not as much as people think it will be. Mike McDaniel calls a great offense. They still have Raheem Mostert. They still have Ahmed, who I think is a very good rookie as well. They've got some guys up there, and I think Tyreek Hill will be utilized heavily, and even more Jalen Waddle this week. Who knows? Miles Sanders might have a shoulder injury, which could hinder the attack, quote-unquote, of the Panthers. Dolphins are favored by 13.5. The total's at 47.5. And I know what you're thinking when I picked the over here. Well, Michael, last week in your AM Drive 5, you got screwed because it landed at 47 in the Giants game. Ah, you were correct. But Daniel Jones went out late in that game with a neck injury. And we landed on 47 already. So I believe the rookie quarterback can get this thing to 48, 49, even 50 points. I've got 34-23 Dolphins. Give me the over once again this week in the Dolphins game. All right, New Orleans Saints are favored by 1.5 on the road against C.J. Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, and the Houston Texans. The total is set at 42.5. Now, C.J. Stroud will probably not have Tank Dell, as Tank Dell suffered a concussion. The rookie receiver suffered a concussion last week, and so he probably won't play this week. Derek Carr looked better against the Patriots, but I don't know what that means because they never really trailed in that game. Chris Olave for the Saints is hurt with a toe injury and may not play this week, or if he does play, it will be limited. So I'm going to go with the Saints to win 24-20. I think it's a very close game. I like the Saints to cover and just barely skate by in this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a good game, but my money would be on the Saints in this game. The Washington Commanders will visit the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are favored by 2.5 points. The total in this one is also at 42.5. This game is in my AM Drive 5, but my thoughts on this game is Sam Howell has been decent. Can the Commanders stop Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier? Kyle Pitts had a good game last weekend, so that means Atlanta might be clicking. But does that mean I think the Falcons cover? I'll have to let you know on my AM Drive 5 at the end of the show. And yes, we're waiting, Aaron. It's an inside joke on the show if you didn't catch last Friday's show. All right. I do think Falcons win, though, just for the teaser there. The Indianapolis Colts take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, Jaguars are back to their American Standard games here. Gardner Minshew is playing because Anthony Richardson will be out as much as 8 weeks, and I'm just going to say they should shut him down for the season, to be honest. As a Colts fan, I think we're going to get more Jonathan Taylor, considering they did pay him a boatload, even though Zach Moss went off in that same game. The Colts like, listen, this is our guy. But this is our guy. We might have a two-headed monster here, but this is our guy right now. Jaguars have been in London, so they are traveling back now. And Colts almost won this game the last time these two teams played in week 1 or 2. If the Colts lose this game, mark me words here, it's because Gardner Minshew played badly. Because I do not think that'll happen, the Jaguars are favored by 4. The total's at 44.5. I've got the Indianapolis Colts to win 24-21. I'm not going to go with the money line for my best bet. If it was my money working as yours, I would say give me the Colts plus the 4 just in case the Jaguars do squeak out a win. But this game will be very close. I think Colts will win. But again, if you don't like them winning, it's going to be close. Just believe that. Even in Jacksonville, for what that's worth. The Seattle Seahawks take on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. This one, Vegas is playing with your minds, okay? Joe Burrow, remember I said last week he was off the injury report, so he must be healthy? Well, they ate up in the last game. And in this game, we're hearing he's still not 100%, but he's close to it. So apparently he's injured enough to talk about it, but he's not injured enough to be on the injury report, so I think it's a bunch of BS. Now, this is interesting. When I predicted this game without knowing the spread, I said Bengals would win 30-20. The Bengals were only favored by 2.5. The total's at 45. Why on earth would Las Vegas set this game at 2.5, knowing Joe Burrow looks a lot better? Like, are the Seahawks going to walk in here and win? I'm not sure. I think Bengals should cover that. I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit that Vegas has given me here. But I don't want to touch that game once I saw that spread. I was like, that's kind of weird. Why won't it be like 3? Like, we're going to 2.5? They want people to hammer the Bengals. Interesting. I bet you they already are, too. All right. Minnesota Vikings are 3-point road favorites without Justin Jefferson against the new and improved Chicago Bears. In Chicago, the total set at 44. You know what's funny? The Bears looked really good against the 2 worst pass defenses in the NFL. And you're thinking, why are the Bears not even close? Like 3-point home underdogs? That's just disrespectful, right? Remember, there's no Justin Jefferson, but I believe Coach O'Connell, his schemes get guys open anyways. I think Vegas is on the same wavelength with your boy. I got the Vikings to win 23-16, and I think Bears will come back down to earth. I like the under 44, but I also like the Vikings to cover that spread. The reason I say under is because you have no Jettas, and also I think Bears, like I said, will come back down to earth and keep us under that 44. Although I think Vikings could do most of the scoring in that game as well. Our final early afternoon game will be the San Francisco 49ers against the Cleveland Browns. Now, remember, no Deshaun Watson probably again. The Browns literally signed and promoted P.J. Walker already because Dorian Thompson-Robinson was, yes, that bad in his debut playing for Deshaun Watson. So this might be a P.J. Walker game. And again, 49ers are already favored by 9.5 on the road here. The total set at 36.5. And Jerome Ford is also questionable, leaving Kareem Hunt to possibly be the number 1 back here. This game could get ugly. I do love the Browns defense at home. This game could also be very weird. I went with the 49ers to win 34-13, but I don't trust anything about this game. If I'm you, and I'm not you, but if I was you listener, you watcher, I would take the under 36.5. I think Browns defense can keep this one kind of close. And I think 49ers can score, and I don't know if the Browns will score at all. So while I said 34-13 originally, just take the under. Because you don't know what's going to happen. Who knows? It might rain in Cleveland like it always does. We're just going to bank on rain. We're going to bank on the monsoon. We're going to bank on P.J. Walker stinking it up. There you go. XFL legend, by the way, from 2020, not 2022, obviously. All right, when I come back, the late afternoon games on the NFL Sunday slate. This is the AM Drive, presented by Agritime. Code AM Drive for 10% off your order. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. AGRI Dime at Agritime. Use the code AM Drive for 10% off your quality meats. Thank you so much in advance. Our late afternoon games on the NFL schedule for this Sunday. This game is in my AM Drive 5. It's the Patriots and the Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 3. The total set at 41.5. Just know, both of these offenses suck. And I really believe after the 2 worst losses of his NFL coaching career, even with the Browns, and that's saying something, Bill Belichick coaches against Josh McDaniels, and this will be interesting. Just know that. But I will not give it away. I will just say Bill Belichick versus Josh McDaniels is what you need to know for my teaser on that one. Lions and Buccaneers. Detroit Lions were favored by 10 points last week. They covered it against the Panthers. This week, they're 3-point road favorites against the Buccaneers. And the total set at 42.5. That's a crazy total this week. Lions are good. I'm starting to believe that. But this is really a battle of prove it then teams. Like, this is a battle of, hey, we've heard your talk, well, or lack thereof, maybe, I don't know. We've seen what you're capable of. We've also seen your franchise history of choking like Clayton Kershaw. So, I do believe the Bucs defense will be ready for a Lions offense, which seems very easy to Jared Goff. I actually picked the Buccaneers for this game 27-20. My best bets would be over 42.5. I really believe Baker will score enough in this game. And while Lions defense has been impressive, I'm not sure if I like it on the road. I think this game sneaks over the total. I think it's going to be like 20-20 late. I think a late touchdown or a late field goal pushes it over. Or it could go to overtime as well. I've got Buccaneers to win it. I don't like the 3 points there. I just think over 42.5. Because like I said, it'll be tied at 20 or tied at 17. Some touchdown will happen or whatever. So, next game, the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are not bad, and Cooper Kupp, after missing a year plus, was great in his return. Arizona Cardinals finally fell back down to earth against the juggernaut that is the 49ers. But remember, the Rams were pretty close with the 49ers. I believe the Rams win this game 27-17. The line here is Rams -7, and the total's at 48.5. My best bet for you will be Rams to cover the 7 and win by 10. All righty. Eagles and the Jets are final of the late afternoon games. Eagles defensive line, I believe, is going to give Zach Wilson absolute hell. I think Jets defense will keep this one close. I've got Eagles to win the game 24-17. And it's funny because I had 24-17. The total's at 41. Eagles favored by 7. I'm like, what the crap do I do? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Tickle me, okay? Aaron always talks about those teasers that you drop down to 7. Give me the Eagles in a pick 'em. I'll feel much better. I got Eagles in a pick 'em. Combine it with God knows whatever you want to do, and we'll be fine. So there you go, Aaron Crouch. In your vacancy today, I brought you a teaser because I capped this game exactly at 41 points in a 7-point deficit, which means me and Vegas are on the same wavelength. I don't know if I like that or not. All right. When I come back, we're talking Sunday Night Football, and after all this time, my AM Drive 5. What is it for this week? You will want to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Look your best while maybe not playing your best. When you play golf, you want to be swagged up with over your friends. You want to make your friends ask you, where did you get all your merchandise from? All your apparel, man. Where'd you get awesome t-shirt, all kind of stuff? So you tell them you went to shankitgolf.com. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. shankitgolf.com. And when you went there, you used the code AMDRIVE for 15% off your order. If you don't remember what Shank It Golf sounds like, I don't know why you wouldn't, but I'm going to be nice to you here. I'm going to be respectful. MikeandAaronDrive.com. Click the logo that looks like a skull and 2 cross bones, or should I say cross golf clubs. And then when you get to Shank It Golf, use the code AMDrive for 15% off your order. And for that, we are hashtag Shankful. I am so proud of me for saying hashtag Shankful. Like, if I feel like I should contact them and say, hey, if y'all start using this, just let you know, I want credit for it. Because literally, this is a dumb story to tell right now. I'm gonna get hated for it. But basically, and no, it's not about me getting canceled on Twitter again. I'm telling you, when I make jokes on this show about being canceled, I'm not playing. I get canceled every week or every month, it feels like. Anyways, this is not a Twitter thing right now. This is about, so I as some of you locally in Guyton-ish area, Georgia know, I broadcast for the Effingham Outlaws, and one of the dumbest things I ever did with that team was never take ownership of the logo that I bought on Fiverr. And so I don't get any merchandise payments. They're selling all kind of swag, and I get nothing. So Shank Golf, if you use hashtag Shankful, I want my stuff, man. They're not using that. It's just one of those things in my brain that had to be said because I couldn't stop it. That's just what happened. All right. Excuse Carrie Underwood's voice, her throat. It's funny. Last time I was on the show, I literally made a joke about Carrie Underwood's sore throat. And look what I woke up with on Wednesday, a sore throat. So here she is. Sunday Night Football on NBC. All right. The New York Giants and the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to assume Daniel Jones is not playing. He missed multiple weeks. Last time he had a similar neck injury 2 years ago. Buffalo Bills are favored by 14.5. The total is set at 44.5. There's a lot of fours. We will see Tyrod Taylor. I capped this game at 34-17 Bills. But because I'm not stupid, I think Tyrod Taylor could score some points. Give me either over 44.5, or I think it's going to go over 44.5. I really do. I think the Giants are going to cover the 14.5 as well. But I also have a pick for this in my AM Drive 5. Are you ready for it? It's time for the hashtag AM Drive 5, our best football bets of the weekend, provided by Aaron, not really, and Mike. All right, here we go. On AM Drive 5 this year, I am 12-8. That's definitely not it. Well then. That's right. Hold on. Here it is. My bad. I forgot I had to, for some reason my Google Docs would not let me do anything. So I had to copy. That's just, anyways, that doesn't matter. All right, I'm 14-11. Aaron is 13-12. Aaron will stay stagnant this week unless he provides me with something later on for the graphic. I will obviously tweet that out and let you know. But it's time for my AM Drive 5. Okay. Give me Michigan to cover 33.5 against Indiana. Indiana sucks. That's all you need to know about that game. My next pick is also in college football. Give me Miami and North Carolina in a ranked matchup over 56.5. NFL bets. I got 3 of them, obviously. Commanders and Falcons to go over 42.5. Give me the Bill Belichick Patriots money line at plus 130 against the Las Vegas Raiders. And in that Sunday night football game, I'm going to make you sweat till the very end. Give me the Giants team total over 14.5 against the Bills. For the Bills defense, I'm just saying, Tyrod Taylor is not a bad quarterback. One of the better backups in the league. I think over 14.5 is going to hit. It's my first ever team total. I feel like Aaron has morphed into my brain somehow. Because I gave you guys a teaser and a team total on my AM Drive 5. Ugh, what is wrong with me? All right. That's it for today's show on this Friday. I will be 27 on next Friday's show, but that doesn't matter. But it's just a food for thought. On MikeandAaronDrive.com for the best in our shop, sponsors, socials, and YouTube all in one beautiful place. For Aaron Crouch, who can be followed at Aaron AM Drive on Twitter or X, I'm the always canceled Michael Carvelis, always controversial Michael Carvelis. Not proud of that. Follow us at AM Drive TV for the show's Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube. We got 63 of them puppies, and thank you all, you wonderful hounds, you. I'm telling you, we should start calling our subscribers hounds. You hounds. Thank you. There ain't nothing but a hound dog. All right, I'm gone. Seriously. My throat hurts. That's okay, though. We toughed it out. You didn't care if my throat hurt because your throat doesn't hurt. Carrie Underwood's does, I wish. And that's it for today. Have a great rest of your day, guys. And as always, drive safe.